My name is James Skeet, and I'm speaking to you from Vanderwagen, New Mexico, which is an old trading post, which really was a part of our heritage. My grandfather grew up here, and his grandfather also, and grandmothers too. The thing about this farm is that it's predating Fort Sumner and after Fort Sumner, where the indigenous people were concentrated in Bosque Redondo. But since we moved back, my grandfather started farming this area, heavy tilling, using tractors, and really destroyed much of the microbial activity in the soil. So Joyce and I moved back here because both my parents had retired, and my dad was very much health-wise not in good straits. So we took care of them for a number of years, and eventually they passed. But since that time, which is about 6 years ago, we started looking at the microbial activity in the soil, and we started farming. We started working the farm through composting and getting the microbial activity up and running. And from that, we decided to start a demonstration farm. And the demonstration farm is really to encourage indigenous people to start growing again. But it's hard to grow anything here in the Southwest because the ground is so compacted, and because of climate change, we are now moving into some very brittle and harsh climates. So we really needed to amend the soil and get the microbes back into the soil so that we can start farming again, which has been to a large degree a success. But now what we're trying to do is we're trying to encourage other farmers to get on board and really look at amending the soil. And in that process, we've invented a lot of different technology, like drawing up the compost juice and then amending the water and getting it out along with mulching, heavy mulching, and also using drip lines to get the moisture in the soil. So with all that being said, we coined the term Indigenous regenerative intelligence. And indigenous has to do with using local materials, decolonizing ourselves from the colonization that we've been exposed to. And regenerative is really starting with zero, meaning your soil is really bad or there's really no economy here. But moving forward from that, moving up to really get some things flowing again, and using local materials. And then the intelligence has to do with how our indigenous people have used the way of farming as a biocosmology. And that biocosmology has to do with using the biology as well as indigenous cosmology, which layers every different levels from the Chostoitini, which is the unseen bugs, all the way up to the plant life, as well as the four-leggeds and into the two-leggeds, and looking how the atmosphere can create the biotic pump again so that we can get this sort of thermal dome that's over us and to begin to break that cycle of desertification and really getting the microbial sponge reestablished on our land. And a lot of that can happen through a different way of looking at soil, a different way of looking at agriculture, using cover crops or using swales, using looking at water as a sacred entity, not as a commodity, but as an entity that is very special that we can use on our land. So, so much of this is in regards to indigenous regenerative intelligence.